Hello everyone, Savage Gaming A1 here. Today, I would like to talk about Mario Galaxy 1 plus 2. And yes, I understand this is a common well-known topic with the price and the visuals and a lot that Nintendo has done with this game and with many other franchises like it. Um, to start, we have to go back way back, almost 19 years back to when the Nintendo Wii came out in 2006. This is cool because, 3 to 4 months, because I'm 3 to 4 months older than the Wii, I think by 3 to 4 months, I don't remember exactly, but I'm older than the Wii, which is, honestly, in my book, a really funny accomplishment. Um, but yeah, I do find that really funny though. Just a side note. Anyway, um, a year later, and in 2007, Mario Galaxy was released, and will be known as one of the best video game platformers of all time, if not the best soundtrack of all time. SMG, or Super Mario Galaxy for short, would be $60 USD at launch, next to HD consoles like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. For $60, this may have been the standard for HD games, but the Wii was still in 480p or sometimes 720p with some modification, or with later Wii's down the generational line, or re-releases or whatever, or whatever you have, whatever you have to say for it. Obviously, leading to some thinking that the Wii games being $60 may be too much for what it was worth. At the time, I was, one. I was 1 years old. Anyway, this comes more into play further down in years, as in like 2010, but we'll get to that point in here in a bit. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to collect these star bits here. Okay, there you go. I'm playing it. I'm playing this game and I'm trying to think at the same time. So please bear with me, as this is something that I normally don't do. I normally don't try to voice over my gameplay um too often, because sometimes I actually do want to just enjoy the music for the game. But I know that with Nintendo games, it could get a little choppy. Anyway, um like I was saying, it might not be the best to buy $60 Wii games when there's other consoles out there that could be doing almost the same thing. Obviously, I don't think that. Obviously, also at the same time, yeah, the Xbox 360 was at that time, around this time, something around there. I'm doing this from memory, so some of it's like kind of jogged. Um, but uh, apparently people bought it anyway. And I guess they loved it because considering that Nintendo themselves ported it over to the Wii U and then put it in a collection for Mario's 35th anniversary, and then did a port slash remake of it one more time for the Switch 2, which really it wasn't even a Switch 2 release, it was a Nintendo Switch release, but it just runs better, and it was kind of more advertised towards Switch 2 than it was Switch 1. Personally, that's how I kind of saw it when I first seen it. So I just want to mention that I have played every version of Mario Galaxy growing up. Obviously, I was really young when the first game came out, so I didn't play it right then and there. But by the time I was like maybe by the time it was like 2012, around 2013, I kind of had a grasp of how to play video games, and Mario Galaxy was one of the games that I played when I was little. I remember exactly how I played it, how I laid it out. I know how I played Mario Galaxy when I was little, and it was interesting. It was kind of whimsical in a way. It was really full of magic. Um, a lot. It was filled with so much joy and wonder. Um, when playing this game, because it's Mario in space. It's nothing like all the other Mario games that you would be playing on the Wii, like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, or you would be playing games on your Nintendo 3DS, and at that time you would be playing Luigi's Mansion or all of the DS, the DSiWare games, or some of the stuff that it came installed, like the photo game, where you would take a picture of someone's face and you would fight them with your camera, like those kind of games. Were kind of that's kind of like what my childhood was with Nintendo. It was mainly 3DS, Wii games, but growing up, I kind of obviously grew up with the Wii U and having a lot of Wii U stuff and whatnot. Kind of set me apart from being both a Wii and Wii U kid, and because I played both. I was born when the Wii came out, but I grew up with the Wii U. I loved playing Splatoon and whatever. But back on the topic here. Sorry for that the side tangent. But I've played every version of Mario Galaxy, from the Wii U port to the original to both of the originals on the Wii. Like I played every single one. It's been a very long time since I've actually played Mario Galaxy. The gameplay in this video, obviously I'm playing Mario Galaxy. However, I think I played this about this footage is a little old. It's not brand new, but I played this maybe a week ago, maybe yeah, like a week ago. I played this, so it's a little old for me, but that was the last time I played was this gameplay here that you're watching. Um, I can definitely say, like, this game was very nostalgic to play. And it kind of reminded me of some of the best parts I've had with this franchise, with this game in general. But yeah, I've played every version of it though, and honestly, like, if I had to choose the best version to play, I would have chose either the original on the Wii or the new one here. And the reason why I say that is because the newer one is, well, actually we'll get to it later here in the video. But I just want to point out that the original with the 720p, I've never played on a 4K monitor before, and I've never ever had that kind of experience until recently, where I did, and I don't even know how I live without it. I kind of just, like, I chalked it up to just being, oh, a game's a game and whatever. So I didn't think that there would be any, like, core value within getting a good gaming setup or monitor or whatever. I was young. I didn't know any better. But um, I think that if I would have known what scummy practices Nintendo were doing in the Switch era, my outlook on the entire situation would be different. Um, but I have to say, I'm impressed with the version of Mario Galaxy for the Switch. Talking about, 1 and 2, not 3D All-Stars. Moving along in 2010, Super Mario Galaxy 2 would drop in May of that year. And still on the Wii for $50. But later in 2013, it would drop down to 30 USD. Not only that, But later down in the Wii U era, both games would be ported over for 20 US dollars on the Wii U eShop. Now, Super Mario Galaxy is a sequel, kind of Mario Galaxy 2 is a special kind of sequel to the first game. It would be a little more polished, and some of the mechanics would be reworked. But for the second game, Yoshi would be the star of the show, or some of the new power-ups would be. The game itself is very much the same as the first, but with some notable differences in story and gameplay, mainly the giant head airship that you ride instead of the observatory, and just some core gameplay mechanics and story with Yoshi and the new power-ups and stuff like that. I can firmly say that, like, they are almost exactly the exact same game, maybe built off the same engine, I don't know, but it's just something, it's kind of something that you can look at and be like, oh, did they actually make it that way, or was it always that way? It's just something to really think about. Sorry, it's really late at night, excuse me. But then, you know, it would go down to $20 on the Wii U eShop, and now Yoshi just becomes, oh yeah, like I was saying, like Yoshi's just the new star of this game. Like Yoshi gets the Luigi treatment, but better. Now in the year of 2025, we have 1.5 ways to play Mario Galaxy, but only one way to play Mario Galaxy 2. The reason for this is because Super Mario 3D All Stars was taken off the eShop and from stores because of its limited release. 3D All Stars version of the game was okay, but it could have seen major bugs and resolution issues when playing it, making it kind of a bad experience. Not only that, it was a $60 game. The game itself, though, for $60, I kind of do feel like it's more agreeable now, considering what Nintendo has done with Galaxy 1 and 2. But for $60 for Galaxy 64 and Mario Sunshine is actually an incredible deal, and I'm surprised people still kind of complain about it today, when now looking at what 1 and 2 is. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to think about, personally. And that price, the $60 for All Stars, that could make up for, if you're a hardcore Mario platforming guy like me, or like many Nintendo fans. Now we kind of reached the part of the video where it's all about my opinion of the game and if it was really worth the price. The price for this game being $70. By the way, just as on a side note side tangent, obviously the bundle is $70 and both games are base $40. This isn't crazy, because if you really think about it, like I said earlier in the video, it would be released for $50. So the original game would be released. No, what is it? The second game would be released for $50, and then 3 years later would be dropped down to $30. So a $20 difference. But then buying Mario Galaxy 2 for $40, that middle ground. So we can definitely say that Mario Galaxy 2 has been sold, or has been priced at 50, 40, 30, and $20 in its entire lifespan / career. it's been priced those amounts. Galaxy can be, I don't know about Galaxy's pricings. I didn't really look into much of Galaxy's research here, but Galaxy 2 I did because I'm more, if I had to choose which one to pick out of 1 and 2, I would probably pick 1. I just love how the game mainly focuses on, this is Mario's adventure. This is a Mario in town, like in home classic Mario adventure. Like, I really enjoy it just being about Mario. It's not about Yoshi. It's, you know, I guess, I mean, if you want to say, like, if you want to say that Luma counts, like, oh yeah, you had to have Luma for this, it's like, okay, whatever, sure, Luma is here, it's fine, but, um, it's just kind of the way that I think about it, and $70 for the bundle is totally not worth it. You know, a crazy, and I could say with confidence, you know, if you think $70 to $40 is just enough to play these games, you're crazy. You're actually crazy, because it's like these games in this era of time where they're like, it's like a museum gem. It's like, it's old, but it's pretty nice to look at. It's like, it's kind of like that. It's like they went into the museum and they took a rag and they polished the gems, and that's what they did with Galaxy 1 and 2. That's literally what it is. Galaxy 1 and 2 is just a polished gem. And I just I find it so hard to find a good justifiability to say, like, oh yeah, this was $70, oh yeah, this was $40. I find it so hard to justify those numbers, um, considering that it just doesn't, you know, it makes no sense for them to be that high in price. It really doesn't. It just totally doesn't. But if you were to put both games combined, 1 and 2, both for 40 USD up front, the games themselves are different. In fact, they are slightly remade in a way. Like, I would totally buy, like, I think anyone would justify $40 for both 1 and 2 instead of 70 for both 1 and 2. I feel like anyone can get behind that. But I do want to say that um, the games themselves are kind of they're kind of remakes. The save screen for both games are now just kind of integrated. Um, they're kind of they're kind of integrated within the gameplay. You might have seen it sometimes when um, playing in in my gameplay here. Um, that for some odd reason, like, the camera zooms out and Mario just stands there and you can move Mario, but for some odd reason, the save screen that would normally be in some of these areas are just flat out, like, it kind of just makes it like an awkward moment. It's an awkward moment in gameplay where the camera kind of zooms out, Mario's not doing anything, and you hear like the loading thing, but there is no loading screen, like saving screen, which on one hand is great because load times are better, but at the same time it's like, you know, there was some charm in saving games like this, where, you know, back in early 2000s or 2000s games where they need to be saved, kind of like, you know, old GameCube games, or um yeah, legitimately like um mid 2000s games like Mario Galaxy and Pikmin and whatever, and like whatever you would need to use for that. um I do think that 40 USD would have been great. I think that 70 USD and 40 USD for one of them, for both of them for 70, no. One of them for 40, no. I would have done 40 for both. Obviously, I'm a hardcore Mario fan, and I buy and touch everything literally that is Mario. I try to get my hands on everything. I can't let one thing get past me. I try to collect every pre-order. I try to get everything I can. Obviously, if it's something that I don't understand, or that it's region locked, or that I'm gonna have to figure out a different way of getting it, like the wooden block amiibos from Japan, or a lot of the EU pre-order stuff. Um, I don't really have any of that stuff because A, it's region locked because I'm in the U.S. and it's just I can't really get any of that kind of stuff when I'm pre-ordering here. Not to mention, US doesn't get any pre-orders, dude. There was no pre-orders for this, but there were tons of pins and stickers and stuff that you could have gotten for Galaxy in the UK. So upsetting. Seriously, so upsetting. Um, However, just to kind of get back on the game here, they went back and they did redo some of the text, and they did put in more tooltips for the Switch. But two things stick out the most when playing both of these remakes slash ports. In Is that the 4K resolution for on the Switch 2 is unbelievable. It makes the game so much better to play and see what's happening. The other thing is the new storybook pages, which I guess for some people is a big meh and they really don't care. Now, I can say confidently that in the past I've actually never ever read this book before. I've never sat down and read this book as a kid. I never read it when I was during the teenage years of my life. I actually never even read it on the 3D All Stars version of this game. I just never read it. I never was a big reader, so I never read the book. Um, I can say though I can say that with confidence that um, after reading the book, I can say that it's such a sad story. It's such a sad story, and it is such a inspiring story too. It's super inspiring and it's super sad, and you don't really expect that coming out of a Nintendo game, especially Mario Galaxy. Well, no, not out of just Mario Galaxy, but coming out of a Mario game, you don't expect the sad tone. You expect like the great, awesome adventures and troubles that Mario's going to have to go through to save the princess. And I feel like this tone of there's more at stake here than just the princess. It's a universe. It's star children, and there's just a lot of um, there's just a lot of things at play when it comes to the Mario Galaxy universe. And the storybook pages add a lot of lore. And then makes like heavy lore questions that kind of makes the Mario universe seem a little bit whole. Um, so at the end of the day, uh, or Galaxy for that matter, I can say that these games are worth playing if you have a Switch 2. I do not recommend playing. Uh, I don't recommend playing any of these games for their price without a Switch 2. If you have a Switch 2, please buy these games at $40 and $70. Honestly, if you've never played them, this is a great way to play them. And if you have a Switch 2, it looks fantastic. I've never seen such a beautiful old piece of work look so good, dude. It's a legitimate beautiful piece of technology and software that enhances the game's capabilities. Like all this footage that you see here is in fact the Nintendo Switch version. It's the Nintendo 3D All Stars port version of the game. Yes, it is the 720 180p version of the Super 3D All Stars. However, when the other game came out, they took 3D All Stars build, and they built off of that. So this is like a way better looking, Mario Galaxy coming off of All Stars. So I personally agree that if you're gonna play these games, have a 4K TV monitor and have the Nintendo Switch 2, do not do not recommend playing this on a Nintendo Switch. Personally, if this game should be experienced in 4K, because I cannot play this game without the 4K anymore. It is too good. It looks fantastic without it. And I don't condone any emulation. I don't consider pirating or nothing. I hate that kind of era of technology where you pirate stuff or where you emulate stuff. I kind of always like the idea of everything should be played on its original hardware for the hardware. And yeah. So, to kind of wrap it all up, this prices for the Switch for this game on the Nintendo Switch do not add up, and you should not buy this game if you're going to play it on the Nintendo Switch. If you're playing it on the Nintendo Switch 2, or you're emulating it, or anything else, please just do that instead of spending money on the Switch version of this game. It's totally not worth it. But if you're playing on the Switch 2 and you never played any game, if you don't have both of these games, buy the 70. If you have one of these games, buy the 40. It is an experience unlike no other, especially seeing it in this kind of resolution and kind of power to it that kind of gives it this whimsical, like, oh wow, this game looks really good if you kind of made it better. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and you know I hope you all enjoyed, and like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the 1 and 2 editions. I would love to hear them, and everything else. So yeah, bye.